Distinguishing your music studio in a competitive market can feel really challenging. Now, in the olden days, that competitive market was probably just your immediate market. It was the place where you live, it's the town, the community, and maybe the other music schools or the other teachers who are in your area. Nowadays, we find ourselves in an even bigger market, right? So many of us are teaching online. And so that competition feels like it's really heightened in the last several months. So how can we tap into client perception so that when somebody comes across our website or our social medias, or if somebody recommends our studio, how can we tap into creating positive client perception so that when they come across our stuff, they want to book with us? And that's what we're talking about here today, because you want to be able to land those clients that make your heart sing, right? You want to be able to make sure that when a client comes by your social media pages or when they land on your website, that they know, oh, this is the person that can help me. You want to be able to connect with those people. However, if we don't take the time to really build that online presence so that we can positively influence client perception, there's a chance that those people might walk. And so that's what we're talking about today. We are talking about 3 ways that client perception impacts the revenue in our businesses. And I'm going to be showing you 3 specific tips that you can tap into when it comes to making those posts or sharing things on your website, crafting that copy that speaks to those ideal clients. And when you get those things in place, we can positively influence that perception when they come to see us. So welcome to the broadcast, everyone. Hey there, Stephanie. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Heather. Nice to see you guys this morning. Whew. If you guys are tuning in live, please be sure to say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from this morning. If you are catching this later on, know that I always come back to have conversations with people who are watching after the broadcast is over. So feel free to jump into the comments and pretend that this is live, and I will be back to converse with you. Hey there, Pete. Nice to see you this morning. All right, so hey, Karen. She just got here. Excellent. Good to see you guys this morning. If you have a teacher friend, a business owner friend who could benefit from this broadcast, please be sure to let them know about it. Take just a second or 2 to let them know that this is happening, because we're here live every single Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern with all the business mindset, marketing, and awesometicity tips. So make sure that you let them know about it. Don't keep this to yourself. All right, before we get into the content today, I want to remind everybody we love to learn out loud here on the broadcast. So when we are learning out loud, we love to do hashtag takeaways. When you find a tip that really resonates with you and you're like, yeah, this is something that I have to do. When you hear something that sparks and you go, yes, this is good stuff, give us a hashtag takeaway and then list what it was that sparked that interest in you. That way we can learn out loud together, and it makes it a really great process for those who are watching live and for those who are watching later on. I do have the Coach Sara bot set up for you. I'm going to have a hard time with that name now that we've shifted it. And I'm going to tell you about that in just a second. But if you are new here, I just want to say welcome. My name is Sara Campbell. I am a business and mindset strategist for music studio owners and online music education experts just like yourself. And like I said, we go live here every Wednesday where we talk about business topics, where we talk about the mindsets that we need to have in place in order to be great and effective teachers and business owners. And we talk about something called awesometicity. It's a little made up word where you get to show up as your super authentic and amazing self, because there's no teacher quite like you. And you get to do so in a way that shows off that awesome part of you. And you get to show up authentically in your business. And then that's how we get awesometicity. We got a lot of people here who are awesometicity teachers. And so I'll just pop that into the comments. All right, so If you want to get a hold of today's goods, you're going to drop a perception below, and the Savvy Sara bot will send you a message here on Messenger. She's going to send you a speedy recap of the concepts that we're going to be talking about today. And she's going to send you, if you haven't already done the double opt-in to get video notifications. Maybe you're stumbling upon this video and you're like, why didn't Sara send this video out to me? Then you're gonna want to make sure that you do the double opt-in. That way you can make sure to get the live video notifications. All right, enough of that. Let's get to it. The topic of the day is 3 ways that client perception influences the revenue in our business. Let's unpack that title before we get to the tips. Hey there, Carrie. Nice to see you. All right. So client perception refers to what a client thinks, feels, and what they believe about you when they come across your content. And so that content can be in different places. It might be on your website. It might be on different social medias like Facebook or Instagram, could be in your Pinterest profile. I mean, there's so many different ways that teachers are able to connect with their audience members. Could be your YouTube channel. And what we want to do as business owners is to make sure that we have certain elements in place so that when and I'm going to split this into 2 camps here, when a current client or a prospective client come across those things, they are feeling seen, they are feeling valued, and they're feeling like, oh yeah, this person gets me, right? And so here are 3 different areas that we're going to look at today, and I'm going to unpack each one. All right. Oh, I see Madeline's tuning in live from Ontario with her handful of twins. Oh, wonderful, Madeline. I'm so glad that you're here today. Elizabeth is joining from Central New York. Good to see you guys. All right. So before we get into the tips, I'd love to know, this is a good question, guys. How often are you looking at your own website or looking at your own social media from the perspective of your clients? It's really important to take the time now and again to look at where those billboards are, for lack of a better term, and what does it look like if you were a prospective? So what would it, going to your social media page and looking at it and thinking, what is this like if I am a parent who's looking for lessons for their 8-year-old son? Am I seeing the things that parent would want to see? And so it's important that we take that time. How often, so this is the question, and I'd love to know from you guys, how often are you looking at your billboards from the perspective of a client? When's the last time you visited your Facebook page or your website and thought, okay, if I were a mom looking for lessons for her 8-year-old son, does this speak to her? Let us know. All right, so we're going to go through 3 different tips here today. Let's get to them. The first aspect, 3 ways that perception will influence and impact our revenue. I see some answers here. Stephanie says, my face is red. Uh-oh. Maybe it's been a while since you visited it. That's okay. That's why we're here to learn out loud, right? No judgment at all. Just info. No judgment, just info. All right, back to this first one. The first thing that we want to consider when we are trying to think about, well, what kind of an impression are people getting when they come across my stuff, is to really think about the customer experience. And so what is the customer experience? The customer experience is the journey that they go on when they reach a certain part of your content. So when they get to your website, is there a clear call to action somewhere? Or is there just a lot of information and you're not quite sure where to click? The customer experience, you guys have experienced this going to different websites, right? When you get to a website and you're not sure like what the first step is, and there's just a lot of information, the experience, the journey puts more pressure on you as a client or a prospective client to figure out what's what, right? So in crafting a good customer experience or a customer journey, it's important for us to make sure that we're leading people on a path that's super clear. So when they come to your Facebook page, they'll know how to find information about your lessons, through various buttons. We talk a lot about this in the Social Media Savvy Studio, talking about clear calls to action and how we can use our social media in specific ways to guide people to do certain things, right? Not that we're pushing them or forcing them to do things, but they're going to go, oh yeah, okay, I need to click this, I need to go here. And so we talk a lot about that in that self-paced course. If we have any savvy social people here, shout it out in the comments. We've seen some really good content popping up in there with what people are creating. So we make sure that we look at this experience, this journey through the eyes of the customer. Is it clear where they need to go click? Is the copy on your website speaking directly to that client and saying like, hey, I see you, I understand you, I know why you're here, and I can help you, right? So we're looking for those types of things. I see Stephanie says, #takeaway, I'm a teacher, give instructions on my website. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Laura is saying, hey, from Coppell, Texas, the comment space was invisible. Now it's under the red timeline. Oh no, I'm not sure what that means. Karen says that she is actually, this is a long one, I'll read part of it. She has accidentally found old messages in her spam folder from her Facebook page and lost the opportunity, and they found other teachers. I didn't even know I had a spam folder. I still don't know how I accessed it. The messages were from February. Yeah, so, it's making sure that we know what does that customer experience look like? Where are they going to? Where are they sending messages? And Karen, I will say, I feel you on this because I had that same thing happen to me like a year and a half ago. It wasn't on Facebook, but it was on my WordPress site. And one of the plugins was broken. And so the relationship between my email and that plugin was like a whole hot mess. And so I had inquiries that were going to nowhere. And I found them like 4 months later. Eep. Cindy says she's trying to redo her website, so the current one is not quite up to date. Hey, and Pete says my studio was in Campbell for a couple of years. That's awesome. We've got some cool connections here today. So you need to take some time, carve it out in your schedule, get intentional here, right? Take some time to look at your customer journey. Is it clear? Is it speaking to them? Does it tell them where to go and what to do? That customer experience can also, so that's on like the prospective client side. Let's talk a little bit about the current client side, because another way that client perception will impact our revenue is through client retention, right? So we have the one side where it's like, if it's what we call a bounce rate. A bounce rate means when somebody gets to your page and they either interact with it and they do stuff, or they like bounce and they're out because they don't see what they want immediately, and people make decisions really quickly, right? So that's part of the customer experience. We want that bounce rate to not be very high. We want them to stick around and we want them to find the content. On the side of the current clients, we want to be able to increase client retention. Client retention is awesome, right? What's your client retention rate like? Is it like a churn and burn thing where people are coming in and then leaving, or are they staying around for a lot of time? We want to increase that retention so that we don't have to work hard, right? Well, we're still working, but we don't have to work at always bringing in new clients. So we need to look at the customer experience from the perspective of the current client. What is that experience like? Are you communicating clearly with them on a regular basis? Are you there to help them when they need, advice about tech things, or since we're all doing the online stuff? Are you able to answer questions when they need you, right? Within a reasonable manner, of course, with good business boundaries. Oh, I love this. Thank you. I'm going to bring that up in just a second. Thanks there, Elizabeth. So we're looking at that customer experience and we're thinking, are they getting that really great experience? That's the first section. Now we're going to move on to the second in just a minute, but you've got some great comments here. Laura and Pete, yay, you guys have like made a great connection. Elizabeth said she is in the social media savvy right now and the units are making it less scary and I feel like I can do this. Yeah, Elizabeth, I saw you working in there yesterday and I loved the content that you were sharing with us. Thank you so much. If there's anybody here who is curious about that course, I should mention, just give me a hashtag savvy social for info about the social media course. I'm going to be giving more information about that soon. So if you're curious about it, just let me know and I will definitely private message you and give you details. Cindy says, being a performing musician and teacher, maybe I need more than one site instead of too much info on one site. You know, Cindy, that is one thing that I have seen clients do. Another thing that I have seen is what I like to call like the doorway when you get to a site and you have like certain buttons. And I've done this on my site. Like if you guys see, it's soon to be called my old site, right? If you've gone to sarasmusicstudio.com, you'll see there are 4 big buttons along the bottom. And so you have one for piano lessons, one for voice lessons, one for the blog, and one for business coaching. And so that way, when people first get to my door, right, they get to, or first arrive at the doorstep, they get to choose which doorway are they going to go in. And so that's a good way to make sure that people know where to go. Christy says it's so much easier to retain students than to try to get new ones. 100%. And that's something that I'm really leaning into this fall, especially since we're 100% online right now. And I know a lot of my clients would totally want to be in the studio. I want them to be there too. So I'm making sure to spend extra time making sure that they feel loved and seen and heard and valued. And so I've got a few things that I'm working on with that. Okay, great. Andrea, I'll make sure to send you that information. Kathy's in that too. And oh, thank you, Shirley. Loads of great info in the Social Savvy course. By the way, yes, I will be redoing the trainings in there now that Facebook has the new stuff. Okay, we've got a good hashtag takeaway. The doorway. Oh, wow, my power just flickered. That was scary. I hope that I'm still going live. All right, if you guys can see me, let me know. That freaked me out for a second. Okay, hashtag the doorway first intro to site good info. Stephanie says, I need a door. I have a bunch of windows, literally. All right, so that was our first step. The second step here, this one I think is oh, good. I'm seeing hearts and thumbs up. Hoping that means that I'm still live. Give me some more hearts and let me know that you can see me. All right. The second one, I thought that this would be a fun topic to talk about, and it's community engagement. Oh, good. I'm still with you guys. Whew. Had me freaked out for a second. You can see I'm getting all flushed. I'm like, oh my gosh, did my broadcast go away? Okay. So, hey there, Ariana. Nice to see you. All right. Let's talk about the second topic. I think it's kind of fun. So, community engagement is a really powerful way to influence client perception. And here's why. And well, okay, let me get to the what first. What do I mean by community engagement? I know that a lot of like literal live community engagement is really hard right now for obvious reasons, but there are ways that we can still give to our community and, shout out our community, whether that is like the actual town that you're in, or if it's, the larger online community. Community engagement is key. That means maybe getting involved with events, whether that's just supporting them or sharing information about communities. It might mean coming up with some kind of an engagement that you can get involved with. Like, let's say I'm tripping over my words here, but let's say, for instance, doing some kind of a give back to the community. Something that I used to do frequently in my community, and I need to bring it back this year, was we used to do food drives for the local community food bank. And we could get involved in a couple of different ways. One was actually bringing in goods to the studio and donating. Another way was just a simple donation of money, because we knew that if we could get enough, a certain amount of money, then that would contribute to, putting food on the table for families in our area. So that's one way that I've engaged with the community. And I would talk about this during lessons, right? That when parents know that you are involved with the community and you're giving back, they see you as more than just a business owner. They see your studio as a place that is part of the community. And that's really, really powerful for client retention. Now, with prospective clients, it is refreshing to see a website or a social page where you can clearly understand that this page is not just about doing business. It's not just about saying, hey, I have lessons, lesson spots open. Hey, I have this course that I'm launching. Hey, all this stuff. Here's me, right? When they are seeing that you are engaged with your community, whether that is sharing information about what's going on, or, hopping on and doing a quick video that talks about how you're engaging with the community in your studio, when they see that, they start to see who you are as an individual. So here's the challenge with that, right? I want you to think for a second. What are some ways that you can get involved with the community that are authentic to who you are as a person? Maybe there's some kind of a group that you can get involved with. There's some kind of a charity that makes sense for your particular business. I'll give an example of something. This is like my huge, super amazing plans for the future. Like in my ideal world, and this is something that I'm working towards, I want to establish a part of my business that it supports high schools that don't have money to pay for live orchestras for their musicals, because there are a few high schools in our area that have to rely on backing tracks. And I feel like it's just this huge missed opportunity for these students who don't get the experience of working with live music. And so that's something that I want to, that is like in my 5-year plan for my studio. I want to be able to establish a foundation that helps people pay for, that specifically helps high schools pay for live orchestras for their musicals. So seeing that type of community engagement, it's just a really powerful way to connect with potential clients and to reinforce the awesome bonds that you have with your current clients. Yes. I love what you said, Cindy. The orchestra players get more playing experience. It's like, it's this wonderful thing that comes around. The takeaway is community engagement, being online, still support events, or come up with helpful ways to help local communities. Yeah, exactly. So I want you guys to brainstorm while you're here. How would you like to get involved with your community, right? If it's a local community or if it's an online community. Let's say, for instance, that you sell online courses, because I know there are a bunch of you here who are what I call next level teachers, and you are putting together stores, you are putting together like courses for teachers or for students, and you're starting to step into that aspect of your business. There are so many ways that we can connect with other people who do things like that. So finding a business, a company that complements what you offer, and being able to work with them, being able to collaborate in ways to like hold a masterclass, or to, come up with some kind of a collaboration where you guys can bring like the best of both worlds and connect with a wider audience. It shows that you're not just there selling your stuff, you are an active part of the community. All right, the third thing. So guys, if you have like figured out what, before we get into the third thing, if you like want to set an intention out into the universe and be like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to like get involved with my community, I would love to know how you're going to get involved. So definitely give us that information here. Okay, the third thing. This is important. Let's put our listening hats on. All right, we need to know how to communicate our competitive advantage. And y'all know I don't use the word competition a lot, because I firmly believe that there are enough music students and wannabe music students in the world, that we could fill every music studio. We just need to learn how to connect with them and how we can bring them on board. So I don't use the word competition a lot. However, this is an industry term, and I thought we're going to use it for today. So we need to learn how to communicate our competitive advantage. What is it that sets you apart from other studios or other music schools, other teachers? Now, that does not mean the competitive advantage is to put down the competition. It's quite the opposite. It's about being able to tap into what makes you unique. So in communicating our competitive advantage, we need to start by identifying what is it that sets me apart. What do I specialize in? Does that connect with the clients that I want to serve? So looking at those things, how does that connect? I'll give an example. So one of my ideal clients, and I know we're only supposed to have one, but when we have multiple instruments in a studio, there is, some different ICA work that we need to do. One of my favorite types of clients are adult voice students who love musical theater. So they are the ones who audition for shows in local community theaters. I'm in a small rural area. I live around a lot of Amish farms, but we do have a pretty active community theater. And there are people are driving like 30, 40 minutes to get to practices at these places, but they're dedicated. And so that is one ideal client that I serve. And in trying to figure out what is my competitive advantage for this, I'm able to clearly communicate what I can do for that specific client, how I can tap into their goals, their desires, and their pain points, right? What are they struggling with? How can I help them with those things? So getting clear about what is it that sets you apart, how can you help the people that you want to serve, is going to help you communicate that competitive advantage. And where is that going to show up? That's going to show up on your website copy. It's going to show up in the types of social media posts that you're making. It's going to show up in a lot of different branding elements. It'll tap into like maybe the colors that you use, the logo that you use. It can tap into the taglines that you've created, right? All of these little things, knowing who you are and what makes you special as a teacher, and connecting that with the person that you want to serve. That's a really powerful way to influence perception. Now, maybe you've given thought to these things, but that this is important, right? You've thought about, okay, this is what I kind of specialize, but you haven't taken that step to really applying that to the billboards. Then, we're missing this opportunity, right? We can't influence that client perception. So if a new client gets to your website and they don't understand your competitive advantage, they don't understand how you can help them, they're going to bounce. If they come to your website and it is super clear about who you are, what you do, who you serve, they're going to read more. They're going to click more. They're going to figure out how they can get in contact with you. Carrie, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad that this is resonating. Takeaway, tap into client goals and how you can help them get there. Exactly. I love this. People are putting out some good things. Cindy wants to... what just happened? Am I here? Whoa. Did my screen just go black for a second? Wow, I tell you what, we are dealing with some super fun stuff. I think eyeglasses just pardon me while I fix the color on the screen. I just disappeared for a second there. Wow. Guys, if you only knew all of the tech stuff that happened before this broadcast today, I'm dealing with the hard stuff. Okay. Cindy says offering a biz partner to collaborate with for classes, camps, and online stuff. Christy says that she's going to reach out to the charities in town. For real? She's going to reach out to the charities in town. And I'm not going to bring any more comments up onto the screen because apparently every time I do that, it is glitching. So I am still here, but there was a glitch. Super gremlins. All right, I know what I'm going to do. We're going to switch cameras. All right, I'm not going to be fancy camera, so the color's going to be off and it's not going to be zoomed in. Let's hope that that was an eyeglasses issue, and we're going to shut that down because I've got content to get to, and we are not going to let this stop us. Okay, so where were we? Okay, let's get back to a speedy recap, guys. All right, are you ready for the speedy recap? Here is what we are getting to. Yeah, spooky ghost today. That was scary. If you're just tuning in now, here's what we're talking about. We're talking about 3 ways client perception impacts revenue in your music studio. Good stuff, right? So 3 ways that client perception impacts that revenue. Here's the first one. The first one is we need to know what our customer experience looks like. If we have not visited our website or our social media and really thought about, what would this look like if I were that mom of the 8-year-old piano kid? Like, are they getting the information that they need? Is it clear, like where they need to click, where they need to go? Is the customer experience for the clients that you already have, are they feeling loved on, right? Are they feeling seen and heard and valued? That's important. The second thing is community engagement. Are you using your socials just as a, hey, I have lessons, me, business, or are you taking the time to create those connections with other communities or with other businesses, with other organizations? Are you giving back to the community? Are you bringing it in a way that tells people this is not just about business, this is about the studio being part of the community? Then we need to look at, we need to look at our competitive advantage. Is it being clearly communicated? Do people know who I serve and who, what makes me special as a teacher? Is it coming across in all of the places and all of the, in all of the billboards? Or is it just a generic, like, I give piano lessons? Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Certainly nothing wrong with that. But I know that you're a way more awesome teacher than just being, that person who gives piano lessons. There's something unique about you, and we need to make sure that it shows up in all the places. I see Pete has put a perception down below, so I'll bring that back up. For those of you who want to get the little tiny notes, the little tiny show notes, I write little reminders of all the points. If you would like to get a hold of that, then you can give me a perception below, and the Savvy Sara bot will send you that information in Messenger. She's also going to send you, if you have not already opted in, done the double opt-in to get live notifications, that is how you can do that. She will show you exactly how to do that. There's a couple of buttons that you need to click. And she will also send you information about how you can take this to the next level. Right now, we are 1 week into the launch for Branding Bootcamp, and the class is now half full. And I have a feeling that's going to change pretty quickly here. So if you are looking for help in getting all of your branding in line. Oh, Grisabella's coming up to visit us. We get a kitty visit at the end. Come on over. If you guys are interested in that information, she's going to send you a link to the Branding Bootcamp page so you can check it out. We are definitely going to sell out this time. Hey, we get to say hi to the kitty. Hooray! Everybody say hi. This is Grisabella. She is something that makes me special. She is my 19-year-old, almost 19-year-old kitty, and she's very demanding, and she wants my time. So that means that it's about time to wrap up here. Okay. So thanks guys for thanks for putting up with the technical glitches. Here we go, back to the Zoom thing. Thank you, Stephanie. Best Branding Bootcamp, best class ever. I appreciate that. If you want information of, hey, hi Grizz, yay! See, everybody's saying hi to you guys. Hi to you. Do you say hi? Say hi. She says, I'm very cranky that my mom is spending time with you guys and not me. All right, if you want information about that class, get it below. If you have any questions about anything, definitely hit me up. And I will be back next week to talk about, we are going to be talking about ways to attract awesome students to your business. And I actually wanted to share a link with you guys. If you want to get a hold of that event, I'm going to pop that into the comments right here. So if you want to get a hold of the next week's broadcast, go ahead and check that out on the event. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Sara Campbell. I am a business and mindset strategist for music studio owners and online music education experts just like yourself. And every Wednesday, I'm going live here where we talk about business, mindset, and how to be awesome in your business. Grizz will be there to teach you the things. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. In the meantime, stay savvy and stay you. And thanks for being here. Oh my gosh, you turned down my brightness and I can't find the button to end. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.